Joining me now is Michael Albano, former mayor of Springfield and now governor's counselor for the 8th District, which is all 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. Thank you for being with us, sir. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Jim.
Good to see you,
Great
as
to be
always.
with you.
You've done something I haven't seen before anyway, maybe I just haven't been watching, but you issued a lengthy report detailing your work, the work of the Governor's Council during your term, January 2013 to January 2015. Why did you decide to do that, first of all?
Well, I think it's important. I tried to do that when I was mayor and city council president. People have a right to know what's going on, and when you have a entity, a governmental body, such as the Governor's Council, a lot of people don't know what we do. So I thought it was important, and we had a pretty good 2 years with Governor Patrick in terms of the number of nominees that came before us for on the bench, and judgeships, clerk magistrates, industrial accident boards. So I thought it was important to get the record out to the public.
I want to talk about some of those specifics that you outline in your report, but in a broader sense, you are taking, as governor's counselor, a really proactive approach to being on the council. I term it almost as acting as an ombudsman or a special regional representative for Western Massachusetts. It seems to me you see the job in a little different way than most people.
Well, how do you not, Jim? I mean, when you sit next to the governor or the lieutenant governor every Wednesday and you have that type of broad access, you have to take advantage of the situation, and that's what I've tried to do. So when Lieutenant Governor Murray left, there was no lieutenant governor, and I thought it was a good opportunity. And a couple of Western Mass mayors and a couple state reps called me and asked me to help them on a couple matters, which we did quietly, got the job done. So I think it's important, once you're there and you're in the State House, you have access, to not take advantage of it, I think is a huge mistake.
You note in your report, with some pride, I think, the pardon petitions acted on by Governor Patrick for Enrico Tamelio and Louis Greco for their wrongful convictions. Goes back to a conflict you had with the FBI many years ago when you were on the Parole board. It's an amazing story. It would make an amazing book or film, really, of what happened there. But you came to realize that these gentlemen had been wrongly convicted. Evidence was suppressed by the government. It's really a sad situation, and now you've managed to turn that around.
Well, a little bit. I mean, they both, Tamelio and Greco, both died in prison, so essentially they received the death penalty, which they initially did at the time of trial. But they ended up dying in prison. Their 2 co-defendants were released after the evidence was uncovered that they had been wrongfully convicted and knowingly wrongfully convicted. So Governor Patrick did this proclamation of innocence. It's only been done 2 prior times. Sacco and Vanzetti, Halligan and Daly, 2 Irish Americans who were executed in Northampton, actually from Wilbraham, and then now Tamelio and Greco. So it's done very rarely by governors. But it indicated to the public that these 2 men had been wrongly convicted, and any tarnishing of their name was hereby removed to the point that a governor could. So I thought it was important to set the record straight and to have a level of justice for the families.
Approval of judicial appointments is probably the thing most people know about the Governor's Council. Governor Baker recently announced he's forming a Judicial Nominating Commission that will, for him, review and recommend potential nominees for the bench. He's looking for 21 members. He's gone online basically saying, if you think there's something you'd like to volunteer for, there's not going to be any pay. I'd like to hear from you. How do you react to the creation of that commission? Do you see it impacting or in any way undercutting what the Governor's Council does constitutionally, your mandate to approve judicial appointments?
No, not at all. And the JNC, Judicial Nominating Commission, goes back to Governor Michael Dukakis I back in 1975. And it's a useful tool, and it allows people from the community to participate in the selection of judges. Once they are selected, they are reviewed, and then it goes to the governor, and the governor makes the decision and sends it on to the Governor's Council. So it does not take away from our constitutional responsibilities. It's a very important position. I've asked the Chief Legal Counsel, Lon Povich, if he would consider having more than 2 representatives from Western Massachusetts. We had 2 great representatives from Western Mass, but 2 out of the 21. So I'm trying to get at least 1 from each of the 4 counties that I represent and have them on the JNC to review these applications that come in, because being a judge is critically important. I think it's probably one of the most important positions in public service. You take the Springfield District Court, and you have a judge there, the busiest court in all of the Commonwealth. depending on what they do with somebody perhaps who has a substance abuse problem, you can send them to jail. We've tried that war on drugs for the last 40 years. I'm not sure it's worked, but that's $50,000 a year, or you can get them into treatment. So the district court in particular is a community court, and it has a huge influence on the quality of life here in Western Massachusetts. So I want to be sure that we get the right person, and that the Judicial Nominating Commission can play a role in this to get that right person. Then the Governor's Council will make their decision.
Governor's Council also acts on appointments to the Parole Board, Industrial Accident Board, Industrial Accident Review Board, Appellate Tax Board, and all bureaucracies that, kind of make people's eyes glaze over. But they're very important because they do a lot of things that can impact a lot of people's lives in a lot of ways. Who is on those boards matters, doesn't it?
And no question about it. And that's one of the reasons I put this report together, to show the public who these people are and what their responsibilities are. The Industrial Accident Board, nobody really hears about that. But if you suffer an injury here at 57 and you have to go for some level of compensation before an administrative judge, it's an important decision for you. It's an important decision for the community, for your family. So the type of people that you have, their experience, their backgrounds is very, very important. And it's so important that we get the right people in these critical positions.
You moved for, successfully, a major change, modernization in the judicial approval process. Public hearings on judicial nominations held outside the State House, I think the first time ever. You had Springfield, Greenfield, and Gloucester. Why was that important?
Well, we had one up in Pittsfield, too. We had several in Springfield, and Gloucester was one. It's the first time we went out to the public and asked for their input into the process. Because we meet on Wednesdays. We do our hearings on Wednesdays at the State House. Very few people are going to have an opportunity to attend. So each of these hearings, Jim, that we had out here, we had at least 100 people show up. That's how important the position is of a judgeship, and that's how much it influences the community. So we had advocates for prison reform. We had advocates for putting people in programs as opposed to incarceration. We had people from the legal community. It was about philosophy. It was about judicial discretion. And it was very helpful to me as a member of the Governor's Council to hear that community input, so I make sure that I voted in the proper way.
We always hear people say, and every few months somebody, a newspaper columnist or somebody writes the column, why do we need the Governor's Council? It's an anachronism from colonial times. It's outdated. We don't need it anymore. Clearly you don't agree.
I don't agree, but I could make the point for abolishing the Governor's Council if you'd like me to. But somebody has to confirm these judicial nominations. Historically, in states around the country or in the United States government, it's the Senate. So we could have the 40-member Senate, and I have great confidence in the senators from Western Massachusetts. But I think there's an inherent danger there that there'd be some horse trading legislation for judicial nominations. I think there's a danger there. So I think the framers of our own Constitution in Massachusetts had it right, that an independent body to review these appointments is important to the process. So whether it's a Governor's Council or the state Senate, I think the council makes a lot more sense in this day and age.
We talked about you getting the council out of the State House for those hearings on judicial nominations. Sorry, Pittsfield, I left you off the list, but several hearings outside of Boston. Do you see the potential for more changes, more modernizations in the term ahead?
Oh, I think so, Jim. I'd like to have publicized hearings. I'd like to have the television in the council chambers. I think that would be important. I think opening up the process relative to pardons and commutations is important. I'm going to push Governor Baker to do more pardons and commutations. I think it's critically important to the whole entire system. It gives people a second chance at life. We had one young man from Western Massachusetts who received a pardon. I think it's going to make a big difference in the type of job opportunities he has now. So I think we can use it as an economic development program. And take away this pressure on governors because of the political connotations of issuing pardons and commutations. I don't think there should be this heavy political atmosphere relative to issuing things that the governor has the right to do. So I'm going to push Governor Baker in that direction, and hopefully he'll listen to this guy from Western Mass.
Governor's Councilor Michael Albano, thanks for your time, sir.
Great to be with you, Jim.